trying to impress us anymore.
Arizona wins 17-13 yesterday against the St. Louis Rams, and we now go in the red zone with head coach Ken Whisenhunt alongside sideline reporter Paul Calvisi, who joins us as well. Coach, good morning and congratulations on being 1-0.
Thank you. We'll take it. Anytime you get a win on the road and in the division, you're always happy with that.
We made the joke earlier. Imagine your boss says it's time to go home. Everybody's done working. You start your car, you're ready to go, and the boss runs out of the parking lot and says, "Nope, never mind. You got to come back and you got to keep working." And that was our analogy for what the mindset of your defense had to be, thinking we just got this last pick, the game's over. What does that tell you about your defense to go back and, I guess, save 2 game-winning drives?
Well, I think it says a lot about our team, but certainly our defense in general that they were able to do that. You know, that's tough when you make a play like Kerry did and you think the game's over emotionally. You know, it puts you in a state of mind. And then when they talk about sudden change in football and something happened like did happen, you know, you've got to be able to respond. And when you talk about responding as a football team, what they did the second time on the field there in the last 2 minutes was very impressive. And, you know, that's the mark of a team that can overcome that and still win the game.
Whiz, when you looked at your defense, did you think your defense was getting the kind of pressure on Sam Bradford that you expected going in?
Yeah, I did. I thought they were going to be able to get a lot of pressure on him, and they did. Our defense got a number of hits on the quarterback and got pressure on him and forced him into some bad plays. And you know, we had a couple of turnovers that we didn't get, one because we were offsides and one because we didn't fall on it, that, you know, really would have made it for a very good performance by our defense. But, you know, I think that we'll continue to improve defensively. What I liked was we were able to win in the pass rush with some of our guys individually. Joey won a number of times, Calais won, Dockett won, Clark Higgins won, without having to blitz all the time and put pressure on the quarterback. And that's what you have to do. So that was a very encouraging sign.
You know, Steve Spagnuolo said he expected a diabolical, was his word, game plan because he had the rookie quarterback, right? How diabolical was your defensive game plan, and did he return fire? He was dialing it up too, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, their defense was doing the same thing, but we knew that. We knew from last year and how they played us that they were going to do the same thing. And when you do that defensively on their part, it's going to open them up to some plays. And that's probably my only disappointment from yesterday, was that we had opportunities to make those plays. We did it on the first drive, but we didn't do it consistently. And that's going to be a byproduct of not working together a lot. And hopefully that's going to improve. I feel very good about that. But defensively for us, you know, that was part of our normal game plan. We didn't do anything just special for Sam Bradford. We designed some pressures that we felt would attack them well. And you know, but one thing we did work on is trying to move our guys around to try to confuse them. But the young guy did a good job back there, you know, standing in there, taking some hits, making some throws. But you know, our defense was able to be successful as far as winning some of the matchups. Did a very good job against the run game, and I'm excited about you know, about how we can continue to progress defensively.
How did you assess the game when there were so many things that had to just make you thrilled to death, and so many things you probably felt like banging your head on a wall?
Well, that's the first game. I mean, let's look around the league.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking on the update a minute ago about how Washington won the football game without scoring an offensive touchdown.
Right.
So, first games of the season, seems like if you look around the league, there's a lot of that going on. And I think what's important is that our team found a way to win. You know, that was St. Louis put everything, all their eggs in one basket, and that was their opportunity to open the season against us and have a chance to win the game. They played well, and we were able to, even though we had some mistakes, overcome that and win the game. And what I liked is, you know, I said this yesterday after the game, if there's one indication of what type of team we have, is the play that Steve Breston made. Yeah. To be able to run the guy down. And you know, the one thing that I failed to mention yesterday, which was also critical, was Lyle Sindeline down there in the end zone recovering the fumble.
Yeah.
He had to run a long way to get down there. You know, that's the type of mentality, the never give up mentality, you know, the will to win games. And that is where we've made such great progress as a team. We didn't play our best, you know, but we made enough plays to win the game, and that's what's important.
Whiz, Derek Anderson had 41 pass attempts. Going into this game, did you game plan for that, knowing that Coach Spagnuolo was going to come after you guys and hope to hit maybe some big plays because of that? Was that a game plan thing going in?
Well, I think that was absolutely a game plan thing, but we had some plays. I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 plays that were just off the fingertips of our receivers yesterday that would have been really big plays. And I think when you play a team that's going to pressure you the way they pressured us, sometimes it's hard to run the football. I thought at times yesterday we were very effective running the football, but overall, when they're bringing the safeties down in the box and they're blitzing and they're stunting the line, you're going to get single coverage outside, and you're going to have a chance to make some plays down the field. And, you know, like I said, Derek made some really, really good throws, some big-time throws, especially some of those throws in the seams. But, gosh, how many plays did we see that were just off the fingertips of Larry or just kind of didn't connect on? And that's unusual for us. Some of that is Larry not being 100%. Some of that is Derek, you know, just not quite making some of those throws. And if you look at it from this standpoint, if we improve in that area, we're going to be a pretty good offense.
When you look at Derek, and there he was icing his chest after the game, and you know, and then he throws the game winner. It just seems like the team has bought in behind Derek Anderson very quickly for a newcomer like that. I was just curious if you could comment on it. If he obviously it's something you've seen.
Well, I mean, that's a big part of the reason Derek's starting for us is his leadership ability and the way the team rallies around him. I mean, listen, we had to take a timeout at one point because he took a shot to the chest. A lot of guys would have come out in that situation, and Derek stayed in there. He's tough. Now, he took some shots yesterday because, you know, it wasn't smart on his part. There were a number of times where he should have gotten the ball out, and that's a product of, you know, getting more comfortable with our offense and understanding what we're trying to do. But I got to give the guy credit. Very tough, physical guy. And the fact that he was able to throw the touchdown pass that essentially won the game for us after overcoming some things, it was really nice to see the way the team rallied around him. And, you know, the leadership part of it is an important component.
With what you know about Larry's knee, is this one of those things where he's going to just do his best every game, but it's going to be, you know, he needs rest and we don't have time to rest, or is it something that time will heal it and he'll be fine eventually?
It's time. It's time more than anything. I think playing on that surface, playing on the field turf, obviously, is something that as he gets more and more snaps, it's going to affect him a little bit, but as he gets more and more time, it's going to get better. It got stronger, significantly better last week. I expect it to do the same this week. I would think that, you know, before too long, we're going to see the old Larry again, which I know we're all anxious to do.
You know, Timmy Hightower is such a competitor. I love this kid. He's a complete back. He's a guy that can go out there and hold up in blitz packages, of course. He can come out of the backfield. He runs the football well, and yet 2 costly fumbles by Timmy Hightower. Where is his state of mind right now, Whiz, mentally?
Well, we talked on the plane coming back last night, and when Tim was a rookie, there was a game in the preseason where he fumbled. And I said to him on the sideline at that time, I says, the mark of a pro is being able to respond to those things and come back. And he did it in that game, and now he's faced with that at this situation, the first game of the year. You know, that's tough. I mean, we're not going to accept him putting the football on the ground. You know, the first drive, we're methodically moving down the field, making plays. We got a huge hole, and the guy knocks the ball out. You know, that would have been a huge run if he doesn't get the ball knocked out. And we're lucky that they didn't pick it up and score with it there, and then our defense did the job of blocking the kick, but you can't do that.
Did you think he was down on the second one?
Well,
the last possession?
You know what? It certainly appeared to me that he was down, but you can't put the ball on the ground, Wolf. And you know, you can't put that call in the official's hands. That's not, you know, we talked about that before that play. Put 2 hands on the ball. Whatever you do, don't give the ball up. And you know, that's a situation where it just can't happen. And if you're going to do that, you know, it's going to severely limit your opportunities to play.
Are you confident, Whiz, that he can overcome that fumbling issue?
Well, you know, it's going to have to be, I think, a little bit like Tiki Barber. We're just going to have to continue to work with him on how he carries the ball, and you know, that's got to be a point of emphasis for him. If you know, I believe that he can, and I think that you know, that's something that he's got to work on. It's unfortunate, but he's had a couple through the years where he's put on the ground, and we've worked on it, and so has Beanie, to be honest with you. And, you know, that's something that we've talked about. So we're just going to, I remember last year we were going through this whole process with Beanie, and he carried a ball around, and how he carried the ball, and Beanie got better. And we're just going to have to make sure with Tim that, you know, it's going to limit his play if that doesn't become something that's important.
And you did it with Kurt Warner as well, didn't you? You had Kurt Warner walk around. Kurt Warner was carrying it at home. His kids were attacking the football.
That's right, with 2 hands. That's right. That's right. Yeah. The guy who blocked it.
Quit bringing up all these bad memories.
Yeah. They won the game, Wolf. Did you know that? The guy who blocked the kick did hold on to the ball for 2 interceptions and a sack. Where'd Adrian Wilson's game rank for you, since you've seen him?
It was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. You know, you talk about a guy changing the course of the game. He did that, and you know, that's why Adrian's one of the best safeties in the league. I wish on the blocked field goal, he could have held on to it and run for a touchdown. You know, very seldom do you
At least
see.
he kicked it forward.
Yeah, very seldom do you see a guy come that clean. How many highlights do you think that would have made if he'd have just caught it right off the guy's foot and run for a touchdown? But you know, physical presence all over the field. You know, I think Sam Bradford's actually lucky that he jumped on that one sack, because if he'd have stayed on the ground and run through him, he might have broken him in half. But you know, Adrian played a very impressive game, and I think, you know, having Kerry and Adrian back there, really quite an impressive duo, and I like their chemistry and how those guys are playing for them.
We hate to use the term desperate in week 2, but with how limited the NFC wildcard spots are going to be and how good the Saints are, there might be some Falcons fans using the word desperate already. They don't want to start 0-2. What do you need to do against the Falcons?
Well, I think we got to focus on what we're going to do. It's not so much about the Falcons. Obviously, we'll study them and we'll game plan. But if you go back and you look at our tape, yesterday's game, the reason that it was close as it was because we didn't make the plays where we had the chance. And I'm speaking, I think, a little bit offensively more so than anything. But if you take into consideration that we were offsides, we had a fumble, we had a chance to get another fumble and we didn't get it, you know, those are plays that we've got to make as a defense. But offensively, I think we just got to continue to work. We got to work on getting on the same page. I don't want to say the same page because I think we were on the same page. I think we just got to get more reps and be able to make some of those plays that were there. But, you know, I think that, listen, St. Louis is a much improved team. It's hard to win on the road, but we did do that. We won on the road, and I'm very proud of our team and how they did that. And I'd rather make these corrections and continue to improve off of a win than anything else. So, you know, Atlanta's a good football team, and we'll put our focus on them. But I think this week has got to be more about getting our operations more in sync, which naturally will happen because now we're in the second week of the season.
You're going to be shocked by this, but Wolf had more to say.
Just quickly,
You can tell.
I just want Greg Toller and Daryl Washington, two young guys out there playing for you. How did they do?
Greg Toller, I think he had 13 tackles.
He had 11 in the first half.
Very physical. You know, the one play down there right at the end of the first half, the guy made a good catch. It was a good throw, but he was in position.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that he'll get more confident. I mean, listen, Greg is physically very gifted, and I've seen him jump up and make those plays many times. But very impressed with how Greg Toller played. And Greg and Daryl Washington, you know, he didn't have 18 tackles like he did in the first preseason game, but he showed up. You know, I think there was one play where they were throwing that speed screen outside to the receiver off the slot, and Daryl came flying out there, and it was very impressive to see his speed and his physical nature, and, you know, I'm excited about that young man.
I thought Wolf was going to ask if he could get on Augusta on Saturday. I told him, no, Wolf, you're not getting on at Augusta on Saturday. It's not going to happen, okay?
Paul, I'm going to Savannah.
Do you have anything else? I mean, we'd like to let Coach get ready for Atlanta, and he's got some work to do. Do you have anything else on your mind? You want to talk about the family or anything?
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Coach Ken Whisenhunt, they're 1-0, and we'll talk up next about how the Cardinals were able to win 17-13 with Doug and Wolf here on Sports 620 KTAR.
See you, Doug.
Thank you, Coach. Good to see you.
Appreciate it.